Story time about how my ex-boyfriend and my ex-best friend are engaged to be married right after we broke up. Disclaimer, I'm using fake names, and also please do not get into it with any of their family members on social media because I've already dealt with that. Okay, so boyfriend and I were together for about a year and a half. We lived together, we had a dog together. We broke up beginning of January. His friend and I were friends for about 5 to 6 years. I would have considered her my sister. I was very close with her parents. She was there for me in a lot of dark times, and I feel like I was there for her. I told her pretty much everything about my life. So me and boyfriend started having consistent issues, and I think we both just kind of realized things weren't going to work out. Towards the end of last year, I had a trip planned to go see my mom in Pennsylvania for the holidays. He didn't want to go. We were going to also take a drive up to New York City to go experience that around Christmas time. He didn't want to go, so I brought my best friend with me, and she saw my family for the holidays, and we went up to New York together. So on this trip, I'm kind of talking to her about our relationship and how I'm kind of conflicted on what to do, and she's very adamant that I should break up with him. She's telling me I deserve better, we should have been engaged already, all of the things. Yeah. Anywho, so when I get back from New York, I'm pretty positive that that's kind of how things are gonna go. Anywho, beginning of January, we end up breaking up. About mid-January, I packed all my things and moved in with my friend. So through all this, I'm talking to my best friend. I'm saying, you know, like how I feel about the situation. She's coaching me through this whole thing, like so excited to have a hot girl summer. She's so glad I'm single for the first time. Like, he was terrible anyways. You know, like, mind you, through the relationship, she always said he wasn't attractive. He always said she was very outgoing, I'll word it that way. They never really had nice things to say about each other. They communicated some over text. She was trying to do a bodybuilding show, so she would send him pictures, kind of, to get his opinion because he was a personal trainer. And I allowed it because these are the two people I trusted most in my life. Like, this is my sister and I thought was going to be husband. Anyways, so me and him end up deciding it's hard for us to be away from each other, and so we're gonna work on things. So this is going on for the span of like January. There was actually a big snowstorm in Arkansas, and we ended up like staying together, eating dinner together, all the things, like basically being together, but we weren't. Beginning of February comes around, he's kind of being a little bit iffy, like the week leading up to Valentine's Day. I come to him about it Friday night, the day before Valentine's Day, I think it was. He's very adamant. I asked him several times, are you seeing another girl? He promised to my face, like on the phone, no. I was like, if you are, just tell me. Anyways, he then turns off his location, and I'm like, why'd you turn your location off? And he's like, there's no reason. I'm like, okay. So he's like, do you want me to just leave you alone for tonight? And like, I won't bother you. Like, I know you're really going through it. I try to call him and he doesn't answer. So then I'm like, okay, mind you, my apartment that I'm staying in now with my friend is like right across the street from our old apartment. I drive past. I'm just a girl. He's not home. Okay. I call my best friend. You know, hey, he's not home. I think he's with a girl. She's like on the phone with me like, oh my gosh, like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It's like basically lying to my face. Okay. So I go to bed the next morning. I wake up, I go up to his work and I confront him because he has yet to answer me. And I'm like, hey, I know you were with a girl last night. Like, just be honest with me. You know, I would have never done this to you. You know the deal. I don't even have to go there. Anyways, he's kind of just like laughing in my face and tells me he's been talking to another girl for like over a week. I call my best friend as soon as I leave, and I'm like, I'm never talking to him again. Like, this is so hurtful. And she's like, oh my gosh, that sucks so bad. Like, forget him anyways, you know. Well, then she starts becoming distant. I planned to move to Pennsylvania to be with my family. That was kind of just like the final push that I needed. I'd already been thinking about it. So I'm getting ready to move. I'm trying to like call her about seeing each other and hanging out, and she's like kind of dodging me. Anyways, I finally moved to Pennsylvania. I get a call. Shout out Ella Kate. She calls me and lets me know that actually our old sorority sister spotted them together in the Home Goods, my ex-best friend and my ex-boyfriend. They were shopping together. I texted them both a paragraph about how I felt about that situation, and she kind of just responded with, "This was never supposed to happen, like, oh my gosh, like, I'm so sorry, I know you're never gonna talk to me again." Yeah. I never really got answers as to how, why, when, where, any of the things. And yeah, and then I found out through the grapevine that they're now engaged. That was February. It is now June the 1st. I found out they were hanging out mid-March. So there's no telling, no, like beginning of March. There's no telling how long that was going on for. I'm assuming she was with him the night before Valentine's Day when I was calling, trying to figure out who he was with. I don't speak to either of them anymore, obviously. If you guys support that situation, please block me, because I don't want to associate with you, because that's sick and weird. In all seriousness, I laugh about the situation frequently. I think it's hilarious. Maybe I can't process it yet, but you know, if people can do that to someone, then they deserve each other. I wish them nothing but blessings and pray for them and hope that God works in their lives, because that is not very kind to do to someone. So yeah, happy wife, happy life.
Why didn't no one tell me the crazy drama that can start to happen when one of your friends in the friend group starts to level up? Because this damn near ruined our friend group in the most unexpected way, right? So there's like a little friend group we have. There's like 5 of us. I'm really close with Sarah. She's always been a little more quiet, but she's really cool. I just vibe with her really well, right? So I go with Sarah because we're all going to hang out at this little Mexican restaurant. We're going to meet our 3 other friends, right? Just for like our weekly kind of catch up thing. And so me and Sarah get an Uber there because we plan on drinking, right? So we go to this little Mexican restaurant. We sit down, you know, saying hi to everyone. One of the girls in the friend group, her name is Julie, okay? And she's always been, I guess, the popular one in our friend group, right? And so, you know, as we're talking and we're catching up, you know, by this time, we're like probably like 3 or 4 margaritas in, right? And we live in California. Everything is so goddamn expensive, right? So I mentioned how, what the hell is going on with this gas, right? How the gas prices are insane and all of this stuff, right? And I'm like, damn, I don't know. I might start selling feet pics or something the way my bank account was looking, right? And so for fun, this was Julie's idea, right? For fun, we all decide to pull up our bank account and laugh at the number that is in there, right? So I go first. In my account, I have a cool little like $320 sitting in there. So I pull up my account and I'm like, damn girl, I got like $320 in here right now, right? We all laugh in pain, right? We go around the table. Julie pulls up her account and she, I can't remember what her balance was. She said she has like $207 or something like that in her account, right? Everyone else's is pretty similar. Shelly goes next. She has like $100 or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then we get to Sarah, right? We get to Sarah. The whole time that we're going, she's like kind of laughing along. And then it gets to her. And she gets a little quiet, right? I don't know if she's like uncomfortable or whatever. She didn't have to do it if she didn't want to, right? But she pulls up her account. She reads out the number. Why does this girl say $21,302? Girl, what? I'm sitting there with some Supreme nachos about to come to my mouth and I'm like, girl, how do you have that much in your, like, what the fuck? Right? I'm taken aback, right? But to my surprise, Julie's reaction was completely different, right? She says some shit like, yeah, well, I'd have that much money in my account if my parents pay for everything. Now shit's awkward, right? I'm sitting there, I'm not knowing what to do, and I'm like, am I missing something, right? And then Sarah, again, I could tell Sarah's like shocked, and she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? She was like, my parents don't pay for my shit, right? And Julie's like, well, how else would you have that kind of money in your account? To which Sarah says, she says something like, what did she say? She was like, well, I just know how to manage my money better. She was like, it's not my fault that you spend money on stupid shit and you have a boyfriend that doesn't pay rent. At this point, Julie's pissed off. She's like, I fucking told you Josh is looking for a job. You know how hard it is out here, right? Sarah's like, well, you're the one that you're talking about shit that you don't even know, right? You're the one that started it, right? I look at Sarah and I'm like, ugh, like, we should probably head the fuck out, right? I'm not trying to do all this. By this point, it's starting to get loud. They're kind of making a scene at this fucking restaurant, right? And I'm like, whatever, I don't give a fuck. Let's just get out of here, right? So I'm like, you know what, Sarah, like, let's head out or whatever. So she puts her card down to pay. I thought she was just gonna, like, pay for us and I was gonna, like, Zelle her later. Why did she cover the whole fucking tab for the whole table? She puts down her card and she's like, well, we're gonna go. She was like, I'll just pay for this or whatever, since Julie obviously fucking needs it, right? Oh God. Our Uber gets here and I'm like, all right, Sarah, let's get the fuck out of here, right? So we get in the car and it's like low-key, like a little silent. We're sitting in the back and I'm like, what the fuck was her deal, right? Like, why is she so mad? And Sarah's like, I don't fucking know. She was like, maybe because she doesn't know how to manage her money and she just spends money on stupid shit. Like, that's not my fucking fault. Like, she's over here getting mad or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, valid or whatever. I still can't get over to the fact that she has damn near $21,000 just sitting in her account, right? So I've been drinking by this point and I'm like, Sarah, not gonna lie, girl, you're loaded. I'm like, how did you pull that off or whatever? Because we work like similar jobs, right? And both of us went to the same college and I'm still paying off these damn student loans, right? And I'm like, damn girl, I'm not gonna lie, how did you pull that one off, right? Like, I'm over here struggling, right? And she's like, she was like, I'll let you know. She was like, because she was like, you know, those student loans were killing me. I was trying to pay those off like hella quick or whatever, right? And I'm like, yeah, I'm still paying my shit off, right? And she's like, well, I didn't want to keep, worrying about student loans and all this stuff, whatever. Like, I wasn't trying to be out here struggling, So she was like, so I started looking at ways that I could make some extra money besides, working. And I'm like, girl, are you selling fucking feet pics? Like, what the fuck is going on? Right? And so she tells me, she's like, girl, she was like, here. So she pulls out her phone, right? She was like, it's this app that I've been using, right? I think it's like a green looking app. I think it's called Pay Me in the app store. She's like, look, she was like, I've been using this shit for the past like 3 years, right? She was like, it was when I first got out of college, I was trying to pay my shit off. She was like, you basically sign up and you get paid out for like these huge public lawsuits that when they go through, you get paid out, right? And I'm like, Sarah, is this shit even legit? Like, I don't know. It sounds weird to me. And she was like, dude, I've been doing this the past 3 years. Every single month, it's brought me a cool anywhere from like $500 to $1,000 a month. She was like, but I wasn't spending it. I was just putting that towards my loans or whatever. And now that my loans are paid off, I just have that as extra money. As she's telling me this, I download it immediately on my phone to see if the shit will even work for me because I got student loans that I'm trying to pay off, right? So I download it. About 2 weeks later, right? I check my phone and I have like a payout of like $150, right? I'm like, cool, at least I'm getting something, right? But then I get a call from Sarah, right? And I'm like, what the fuck? And so I answer it and I'm like, hey, what's going on, Sarah? And she's like, dude, did you fucking see on Facebook? I'm like, no, what the fuck is going on Facebook? I rarely get on there, right? And she's like, dude, she was like, Josh got arrested. And I'm like, who the fuck is Josh, right? And she's like, Julie's boyfriend. And I'm like, oh, what the fuck? I'm like, for what? He got arrested for shoplifting at Walmart.
And I am a strong believer that some things in your past are meant to stay in the past. So this girl named Tamara said that she's seen this trend going on TikTok. It was the trend where you would post one of your old best friends and TikTok would go and find them. So Tamara ends up going and she posts a picture of a girl that she used to be really cool with. Mind you, they were inseparable. They were best friends. She said that she ended up losing contact with the girl because she ended up moving. Tamara said that when they were in school, she remembered that the girl would be there sometimes and then she would go missing. And when she would return back to school, she said that she was sick and she was in and out the hospital. So after Tamara had posted this picture, a girl ends up commenting below the video and says, oh my gosh, this is me. So Tamara ends up reaching out to the girl. Mind you, the girl name was Brittany. She said her and Brittany had been talking for months and they decided that they were going to meet up. So when they met up, Tamara said it was just like old times. Tamara said that Brittany was just how she imagined. She said nothing had changed about her, but she said she did notice that sometimes Brittany would go missing. After that first link up, she said everything went so good. Then they decided to meet up again. Tamara invites Brittany over to her house. So she said her and Brittany got super lit. She said the next day she woke up, everything in her apartment was rearranged. Not only was everything in her apartment rearranged, she said some of her items was missing out of her house. Now, she said she didn't want to accuse Brittany of taking anything, but she ends up asking Brittany, like, what happened? Why is everything in my house rearranged? Also, she told her that she couldn't find certain items in her house. Brittany goes and tell her, like, girl, we were so lit last night. You went and you just started throwing things away. She said last night they ended up going to the dumpster and Tamara started throwing away everything. So Tamara said she must have got so lit that she forgot that they even did that. After that situation, Tamara said that Brittany ended up going ghost. She said she kept reaching out to Brittany and Brittany would not respond. And then, what do you know it? Months later, Brittany ends up coming right back. So Tamara ends up questioning Brittany, like, girl, where did you go? And Tamara told her that she had some family emergencies, so she ended up leaving for a couple of months. So y'all, why Brittany invites Tamara over to her house? So Tamara says while she was chilling at Brittany's house, she said she ends up asking Brittany could she go to the bathroom. So she said on her way going to the bathroom, she had noticed this really foul smell that was coming from her room. She said the smell was so strong and disturbing, she ends up cracking the door open. Y'all, why when she cracked the door open, she ends up finding some unalive animals inside of that room. So she said she noticed that things started to get even more weird. She said as she starts walking through this girl's house, she starts to see these weird figurines hanging up from the wall. And then she said she ends up seeing a figurine of her. Y'all, she said she ended up getting scared and why Brittany was right behind her. So she said she goes and she asks Brittany about these figurines and why is there a figurine of her on the wall? Brittany looks at her and starts laughing. Y'all, I'm gonna have to come back for part 2.
You want to hear some small town gossip from a town you ain't never heard of? Of course you do. All right, well, let's get into it. Well, there's this girl, her and her husband get a divorce. It was a very public divorce. Everybody in the town was talking about it. So now she is a single mom with 2 kids. She was making like $10 an hour, had to sign up on food stamps, didn't have a couch for like 3 months. She was broke. She was told that she wasn't going to make it, that she might as well just go back in that crappy situation and deal with it forever. She said, ain't no way. What the crap? Why would I live miserable like that? Ain't happening. So she reaches out on a limb and applies for a reality show because the winnings were like $100,000 and she just knew that she was going to win. Well, she didn't. Didn't come nowhere close. And everybody in town was talking a bunch of crap about her. Like, who does she think she is going on TV? Ain't nobody around here goes on TV, blah, blah, blah. Well, she decides to try the whole TikTok thing for fun, right? Well, then the whole town really hated that too. Who does she think she is? She's trying to be famous. She ain't no influencer. That doesn't happen in this small town. I mean, what the crap? Just because you're from a small town, that don't mean that, like, big things can't happen for you. I don't understand the mindset. But anyway, she decided to start posting videos of the small town drama in her town, of all the people that were, like, talking mad crap about her. Because, I mean, let's get real. Everybody at the hair salon was talking about it, at the bank, at the grocery store. Everybody already knew. So she didn't see any problem with just letting everybody else know. Well, now that girl is remarried. Her and her husband have like 4 different businesses. They are living their best life, a dream life at that. And not only that, that girl just hit 1 million followers on TikTok. I mean, what the crap? 1 million followers. That doesn't even seem real to me. So thank you. I don't want to start crying, but thank you. From the bottom of my heart of everyone that supported me or don't support me but comes to my page and watches anyway. Every like, every follow. I am so thankful for you all for hitting this huge milestone for me. 1 million followers. I'm so thankful. I know I've already said it, but I will say it 1 million times. Thank you. I ain't no influencer. I ain't famous. I'm just a wife and a mom with a bunch of kids right here in Kentucky who just likes to gossip.
Story time about how my best friend slept with my ex. Pretty much, this all starts back in the sophomore year when I met, we're going to call him David. And I met David at school. I took a lot of interest in him when I saw him. I thought he was really cute. We were in the same Spanish class and I just fell in love with him. He played guitar I'm a musician, obviously, and I thought that I wanted to marry another musician. Like, I was sure of it. And so guys who did music were really, like, enticing to me because it was such an important piece of my life. There was a lot of things that happened sophomore year that I won't really get into because they're not really relevant to the story. He pretty much just, like, manipulated me the entire year, like, so hard. But I was also, like, pretty mentally ill at the time. I had been going through a lot of things. And so I was just really not in a good place, and I was really vulnerable. I, like, really just fell in love with him. I don't even know if it was love because it was so unhealthy. Like, he was everything to me. He was all I thought about. He was, like, the reason that I woke up every day. We were in the same band at this, like, program that we do, and we also had 2 classes together. So I saw him really often, and I just, like, craved his validation and his acceptance so much. Like, I just wanted him to like me so bad because he's very, like, he's only interested in, like, alternative girls, and, like, I'm, like, look at me, I'm not alternative. There's nothing wrong with being alternative. I think it's really fucking cool, actually, but I just don't really think it's my style, and I don't think it could be because of the way that I am. At one point, it was so wrong, but at one point when he was dating his girlfriend, he told me, he said, and these words haunt me, because it was, like, finally acceptance from him, but in the worst way possible. And so I was just so greedy for anything from him that I just, like, it meant so much to me. But B, also just because it was horrible to his girlfriend. But he texted me, he said, we were talking, and it was kind of, like, romantic, and I was like, what about your girlfriend? And he was like, he said, and I quote, I've always loved you more than her. Right. I remember just thinking, like, what? Like, I, like, was so happy, but at the same time, it's like, you can't, like, I'm the villain, you're the villain now, we're both the villain, this is horrible. So I, like, felt really conflicting feelings at the time, and I was also just so mentally ill back then. Like, I don't even know what was happening. I was, like, doing drugs, whatever. I had a class with his girlfriend, and I tried to be kind of close with her, genuinely not, like, it had nothing to do with me being in love with him, and everything to do with, like, when I realized that they started dating, like, it just made me take interest in her, and she's a really cool person. Like, she's really sweet, she's really funny, like, she's one of the funniest people I've ever met, honestly, and I destroyed that relationship with everything that I did. And so I got to, like, actually know her after I was already, like, in love with her boyfriend, and she, like, knew. She's a saint, honestly. Like, I don't know, she should have beat my ass. But pretty much, he texted me that, and so the next day at school, I had a class with her, and I just remember sitting there and feeling so guilty. So I just, like, told her, and I felt so bad. But he said those words to me, and then I texted him, and I said, hey, like, I told your girlfriend what happened last night, like, I'm really sorry. And guys, I know what you're thinking in your head, like, why would I give a man the time of day if he's doing that, if he's a manipulator? I didn't know. And also, what you have to understand is, like, he understood me in ways that nobody else ever has. We had so much in common, but at the same time, we were so different. We watched the same TV shows growing up, we watched the same YouTubers, we, like, had very similar childhoods, we thought the same way. Like, he just really understood me. So I texted him, I'm like, I'm really sorry. And then he was like, what did you tell her? And I, like, told him that I told her everything. And I said, are you mad at me? And he said, and I quote, Julia, how could I ever be mad at you? After that, it was the next day, they had kind of, like, done whatever and, like, worked it out. And I remember asking if I could meet him to talk to him because I was just wondering what was going on. So I met him at, I think it was, like, a McDonald's. It was. And we sat there and I asked him, you know, like, what's happening with her? What's the deal? What are you gonna do? And he told me that they talked it out and they were staying together. Here's the thing. Like, that girl, beautiful, wonderful, amazing, fantastic. For her to stay with him, like, he would have had to say, I don't even know what he said, but he would have had to say things, okay? So when he told me that, like, I started crying because Like, I don't know. I was just so in love with him. And like, at that point, after he had said all those things to me, I guess I just kind of thought I had a chance. So I start crying and I'm like sobbing and he just didn't talk. I'm just sitting there like sobbing. I'm like, what do you mean you're staying with her? Like, you told me you loved me. So after sitting there for a while and just like crying and realizing he wasn't gonna say anything, I just got up and I went to the bathroom for a couple minutes. And when I came back, he was gone. From that point forward, I decided, first of all, I can't do that to his girlfriend. It's not fair. Second of all, he treats me terribly. So I didn't talk to him after that. We didn't have any contact. I'm pretty sure I blocked him on everything. And during that winter, I got a boyfriend. We broke up. That's not really relevant. After me and my boyfriend broke up, him and his girlfriend also broke up at a similar time. And so while we were still in the same band together and stuff, we saw each other all the time. And I don't really remember how it started, but like, I think we just kind of started talking and like, we kind of like found each other again. And I was like, even despite me having a boyfriend, like it never changed that I was still like so in love with him and so hurt. And like, I shouldn't have had a boyfriend for a lot of reasons, but yeah, so
Story time on how my ex-bestie would take my IG photos on her phone and delete all the good ones before she would send them to me. So this happened years and years and years ago and we're not friends anymore, but really no one's your biggest hater than a jealous bitch. So let me give you the whole rundown. Me and my ex-bestie, we used to go to dinner a lot and we would take a lot of photos, you know, to post on IG because like that's what girls do. My friend would be like, hey, can you take a photo of me? And I would use my phone. And then I'd be like, hey, can you take a photo of me? And she would use her phone, right? So like at the end of the night, and every girl knows this, when you're ready to like post your photos, like you're like, oh, send me the photos you took of me today and vice versa, right? So like it was end of dinner, we were hanging out in the car of the parking lot, starting to like do the exchange of photos. And I was like, oh, can you send me the photos of me? And she's like, oh yeah, I'll send them to you. And she like kept like lagging, which I was like, why are you lagging? Like just airdrop me my photos. We're sitting in like a parked car in a parking lot like somewhere in LA, and she kind of has like her back cornered in between like the driver's seat and like the driver door, like to be kind of like comfy cozy and like leaning like this, right? But she didn't know I can see the reflection of her phone in the driver like window. I can see what she's doing on her phone in the reflection. And like I keep asking her like, hey, can you send me my pics? I want to post something. And she's still like lagging, like, oh yeah. Let me get them. In the reflection, I notice she's scrolling through my photos and like picking photos and then deleting some. And I was like, okay, maybe she's just deleting like the really bad ones, you know? And then I also noticed she started to like delete the photos in her deleted folder. And like, I mean, you can see the reflection clear as day. And I'm like, this is weird. Like, why is she taking so long? Why is she deleting photos of me? I remember telling her like, okay, you don't have to edit which photos is like which. Like, I'll even take the bad ones. I don't care. And she's like, oh no, I'm not doing that. Let me send them to you. And I was like, that's weird. Then like, what were you doing if you weren't taking out the bad photos? So I look at every freaking photo of me is bad. Every freaking photo of me is bad. And like, I don't need to be conceited. Like, I take bad photos, but like, I also take really good freaking photos, okay? Like, but not one of them was good. Every single one was like me mid-blink. Like, you know how when you blink and you're like this in a photo, or you're like, your mouth is open in a weird way, or like your hands are doing something weird? Every single one of those photos was that. I started to catch on because she did it to me again. It's like, this bitch is a jealous bitch. That wasn't even the reason why I ended the friendship. And I wish that was. I wish it stopped there. Unfortunately, like their insecurity got the best of them in like so many other ways in our friendship. I wish I had more like guts to like address things in the moment, because I didn't, and I wish I did. But like being a little like younger and naive, like you don't really address those things in the moment. I think the older I get, I'm more like likely to do that. But when I tell you, no one hates you more than someone who's pretending to be your friend. Nobody hates you more. And you know what? Now I have a boyfriend, and also I have authentic friends who take the best photos of me. And I don't have hater energy, people deleting good photos of me and not sending them just so I won't look good on IG, which I think is crazy. Like, it's really not that deep, but at the same time, like, you're not my friend if you're sabotaging me. Like, you're absolutely nuts. So watch out, guys. Stay safe out there.
There's this one girl that I used to be like really good friends with. Terrible person, I realized. I'm the kind of person that gets like easily manipulated. I had so many people warn me and tell me, hey, this girl's not a good person. I met this girl, she DM'd me on Instagram, and she was like being really sweet. Okay, like, you love shopping, you love doing this, you love doing that. Like, I love that too. And she ended up like love bombing me. I love you so much. You're like my best friend, blah, blah, blah. Keep in mind, we've only known each other for maybe a month or like less than that. You know what? I was like, this is really cool. I was like, you're so sweet. This is great. I'm so happy right now. I have a new girlfriend. She's cute. She's nice. I mean, everyone around me is saying, hey, watch out. She's a piece of shit. But I think she's different with me. I hate using this term, but she was such a pick-me. It was like the epitome of pick-me. You open up the book and you look at the definition and her name is scattered across pick-me. There was one friend that I have that she actually like went after for no reason. I think it's because they looked similar to each other. Similar vibe, same hair, they're both the same race. So she probably saw her as like some sort of threat or something. And she would go after her exes and her current boyfriend. Isn't that crazy? She would purposely flirt with her boyfriend in front of her. And I would tell her like, hey, like, I don't know if that's a good idea. I don't think you should do that. Like, she's my friend. Like, don't try to go for her boyfriend. She was really boy crazy, and I just, like, I get it sometimes, but it gets to a point, you know? And she ended up dating one of my friends because they matched on Hinge. And I told her, I was like, hey, if things go south, please don't expect me to pick sides. Because I've known this guy for like 4 or 5 years at this point, and I just met her, but you know, she's my best friend. Please don't expect me to pick sides. I know how you deal with men. I know what happens when things go south. Like, don't expect me to like pick sides, please. They literally see each other for 1 week. He's like, hey, I don't think this is gonna work out, because he realizes that he doesn't really like who she is as a person. And so she like kind of freaks out and like tries to find him at this party that we were at, and tries to like convince him like, hey, like, take me back, blah, blah, blah. And he's like being really nice about it. He's like, hey, like, I'm sorry. Like, I really don't think this is gonna work out. She gets so mad. She takes her wine glass that she is drinking and she just throws it in his face in front of everyone. And I had no idea that this was going on. I'm like walking out of the party, and she goes up to me and my roommate, and she's like, I just threw wine at him. I turn around, I'm like horrified. I'm like, why would you do that? I do another like 180 and I see him. He's like standing there and he looks like he's about to cry. Like, he's so upset. Like, he just got wine thrown at him. Of course he's gonna cry. I'm like, I try to, you know, talk some sense into her, because she's kind of like an explosive firecracker. Can't really tell her that she's doing anything wrong, or she's gonna think that you hate her. So I'm like, don't you think maybe you shouldn't have thrown wine at him? You guys are both my friends. Like, this is really awkward for me. She was like, oh my God, he played me. Like, I can't believe you're not on my side, da da da. Meanwhile, this is at another party. I'm like kind of like drunk, and I'm like trying to enjoy my time. I'm with my friends, and I'm like, I can't believe I'm literally in the middle of this. I'm looking at her and I'm like, then she goes and says, I feel like you don't love me as much as I love you. I feel like I do so much for you. She starts comparing herself to my roommate. She's like, I feel like I would do more than your roommate ever would for you, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh my God, I've only known this bitch for like a month. And I'm like so stressed out at this point, because she's like claiming that she like loves me more than I love her. I'm like, damn girl, like, what? Like, I hang out with her. I introduced her to all my friends. I try to do a lot for her. She like... So fast forward, she starts talking hella shit about me. Like, she starts making things up about me, and then she also starts just spreading my own business and just business of mine that she made up. Sometimes I feel like maybe she was in love with me and was upset that I just didn't want to sleep with her, because she kept trying to sleep with me, by the way, guys. One time I went out with her and my friend when she was seeing him. We were sitting down eating. She's like, we should all have a foursome. This is when I had a significant other, and I was like, no. I felt so awkward. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. What? One time I was on the phone with her, And she was like trying to make amends with me after everything exploded, and then she just like ruined my fucking life. She was like, oh, like, if you ever have a threesome, I want to be in it. I was like, no, I don't think I ever want to have a threesome. And then she was like, well, if you do, like, I want to be in it. Like, I want to take your threesome virginity. No, I don't want to have a threesome with you. I see you as a friend. Why do you keep trying to sleep with me? So yeah, she started getting all of the people that I introduced her to start ostracizing me and talking shit about me and hating me because of stuff that she made up, blah, 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 XYZ. Literally gets worse. Like, there's just so much that I just haven't even said in this video. This was the most insane, stressful relationship that I have ever had. And that shit only lasted 2 fucking months. So yeah, I'm ranting to my friends that I've known for years about it. The next day, they hang out with her. You know exactly who you are. And guess what? You're also not friends with her anymore because you have also realized that she is fucking insane. So yeah, thanks for that. And the worst part was she would come back to me and then she would be like, oh, these people are talking shit about you. They don't like you, like this, that. She was literally crazy, guys. I can't even like comprehend how terrible of a person she is. You actually act like that? At our grown prehistoric age, you still act like that? No wonder you had absolutely no friends at all. And no wonder you are back to square one where you actually have absolutely no friends at all. Because my friend, whose boyfriend that you tried to sleep with, told me that you messaged her trying to apologize, XYZ, but nothing in your apology is you taking accountability. And the entire time, you are lying. You are lying straight out of your teeth in your apology because you did want to sleep with him. You did. You know that you did. I've had multiple girls tell me that you have tried to reach back out to them. And the funniest part, they all don't want to give you another chance because you're that terrible. I'm not gonna lie, I do tell people sometimes I really miss having you as a friend because of the nice, sweet moments that we've had, but how terrible you were. The cons really outweigh the pros. I also forgot to mention I bought her a Universal Horror Nights pass for my birthday so she could come hang out with me. She ended up coming late, which is fine, but she brought a boy that she had just met 2 days ago, and then she ditched me. I literally saw her for 5 minutes and then she ditched me and I cried. I cried and I didn't talk to her for a whole week because I actually really cared about her and I needed to find a way to tell her, hey, you hurt my feelings. So when she finally asked me, hey, I feel like you've been distant, I tell her in the nicest way possible, you did this to me on my birthday, I bought your ticket, I'm a little hurt. She exploded on me. She blamed me. She blamed my roommate. She blamed all my friends. She blamed my boyfriend at the time. She blamed everybody but herself. Couldn't take any accountability and then told me that she was mad at me. I ended up blocking her a while ago because I talked to some people that apparently hated me. And I found out that she was telling them that I hated them and then vice versa. It was just... how can you like make stuff up like that? I just really don't understand. I've been boxing for a couple months now and I've had people ask me if I would ever do a fight. There's only one time I would ever do influencer boxing and it would be to fight her in the ring.
It's gonna be a story time of how Mustard ended my 5-year relationship and engagement. Yes, I'm talking about like Mustard, like the condiment Mustard ended my relationship. Let's set the scene. At this particular point in my relationship, my child's father and I hadn't been doing the best. Okay, backstory. When I got pregnant, we signed a lease that ended when my daughter was about 4 months. We moved back into his mom's house for 6 months. And when my daughter was 10 months old, we moved out of his mom's house and back into a new apartment. So when we were at his mom's house, things got really sticky because we kind of felt like we weren't able to be ourselves, express our connection. I wasn't able to cook the way I wanted to cook. There was just things that we couldn't do in our relationship that I just felt if we had our own place again, you know, they wouldn't be a problem. And he kind of agreed. And so when we got this new place, the expectation was just that. It was that, you know, I would start cooking, he would start showing up and being present more often. We would just be able to go back to being who we were in our old apartment. Wrong. Obviously, when we were at his mom's house, we didn't have to pay rent. When we got into this new apartment, it was a 2-bedroom. It was a little bit expensive. He's working a lot. He's a barber, so he was trying his best to, you know, make enough money to where we were able to move into this apartment. At the time, I was not working. It was summertime. I was a substitute teacher, and I didn't have a job. Every day, I was in the apartment with my daughter. When he would come home, he would either go straight to like the little game room that we had or straight to the balcony. And yes, like he would greet me. He would say hey to the baby, but that was like like the end of the interaction. Every day for a week, I was doing things by myself. I filled up the apartment with groceries by myself and a 10-month-old. I put the TV stand together by myself. I unpacked the closet by myself. I felt like things that we could have been doing together or like as a family, I was doing alone. Now looking back on it, maybe it was my responsibility to just do those things by myself. At the end of the day, everything happens for a reason. One day when he got home from work, I ended up mentioning like kind of just how I felt about everything that we had going on. I just felt like he wasn't really being present in the house. I was doing a lot of things on my own. And he also felt a type of way. He felt like, you know, when he comes home from work, there should be food on the table. And there wasn't food on the table that first week. I was kind of just surviving. It felt like I wasn't really cooking. We either went to his mom's house for food every day or we went out. He was telling me like we can't afford things like that. So he's stressing financially. I'm stressing emotionally. At the end of the night, that night, after having that brawl conversation, I ended up in a deep prayer conversation with God. The end of my prayer to him, and I vividly remember this, was that if I am to stay in this relationship, make it blatantly clear. Make it so obvious and clear. But if I am to leave, make it even clearer. That one, just make it so clear for me to know whether or not I'm meant to be in this relationship or I need to leave, period. I kid you not. The next day, same thing happens. I'm in the house all day with my child. He comes home. Hey, walks over to his video game room, shuts the door. Because he had said something the day before about me not cooking, I thought, I'm just gonna make the most extravagant, crazy thing that you've ever thought of. Like, I'm just gonna make something so crazy just for that. So I decided to make turkey burgers. I've never made them before, but I was like, we ball, let's just do it. I make these turkey burgers. My daughter goes over to her grandma's house. We try to enjoy a meal together. I bring him his turkey burgers and some condiments, and you know, I set everything up kind of. I'm eating my food. He's playing the video game, so he's not even eating. And you know, if you're a lady, you know, like you just kind of like over to make sure like it's good or whatever. And he still hadn't touched nothing. So I'm like sitting there like, dang, like I just tried my best. There's not even any type of appreciation, I felt like. So why would I cook every day? So finally, he gets off of his game. I already finished eating and everything. I'm sitting there behind him on my phone. He's like, was the mustard good on the sandwich? And I'm like, mm-hmm. He's like, okay, pass me the mustard. So I pass him this bottle of mustard and he opens it and he looks at me and he chuckles. And he's like, the mustard's not open. And I'm like, huh? And he's like, it's not, it's sealed. And I was like, interesting. He was like, why did you just lie to me about mustard? And I was like, well, if I'm being honest, I just thought you weren't going to eat the sandwich. So if putting mustard on the sandwich made you eat the sandwich, then that's why I told you that mustard was going to be good on the sandwich. And he just lost it. He was like, if you could lie to me about something so small like that, then what else are you lying about? Valid, fair point. Valid point. In all of this, I'm trying to plead my case. At some point, he literally went silent and walked out the door. Didn't say a thing about getting my baby. Didn't say a thing about what we were doing for the rest of the night. Like, didn't say anything at all, just left. Left me in my apartment. Left me in my apartment alone, but I did not feel alone. In that moment, God showed up and was like, that's your sign. I guarantee, like, I felt so clearly, clear as day, that him leaving the house in the heat of the moment right there was my sign that, like, this was not, this one ain't gonna be the one. I was just like, okay, God, I hear you. And that very next day, I texted my family group chat. I have 3 other siblings, and all 3 of them showed up to my door in less than 10 minutes after I texted them and said, I need to get out. We packed all my stuff up, moved me into my mom's house, and I've been here for the past 2 years now. I just find it so ironic that mustard is what did it, but all it takes is faith of a mustard seed. Yeah, so that's my story.
The long-awaited story time on how I got arrested last Friday. I will not be doing a story time on our divorce until I can. That one's gonna have to wait. There's a lot I'm not gonna be able to say in this, but I'm going to give you guys basically a rundown. But trust me, so many more details are gonna be coming out as time goes on. Just gotta be smart. Okay, let's start this off. You guys saw me and him built a very beautiful house together. So we ended up separating, blah, 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 blah. He basically kicked me out. He didn't want me there anymore. So he's like, just leave. I'll even pay the down payment for your apartment just so you're out of my hair. Which is hilarious because I was the one like leaving him. So it was very confusing. I knew there was somebody else. Anyways, I simply needed to go over and get my stuff from the house, and he wasn't letting me. And so finally I was like, you know what, whatever, it's my house, it's my land, I'm gonna go if I want. So I went. Ethan had asked for Nolan that day, also my baby, Ethan's husband. Keep that in mind. So I come into the driveway, Ethan's not home, but there's a random car there. So I go and I look through our windows, and in the kitchen I see a girl. I don't recognize this girl at first. She turns around, gives me a very like snarky look. But I don't really care because my whole thing is, okay, you're in there alone with my child. She had my kid. And she locked me out, okay? There was no way for me to get inside my own house, okay? And so now I'm like, okay, who the hell is this chick? Who? I broke a window on my house. So I first tried to like slide it up. It wouldn't. So I broke it to get into the house. That's all I did. So like breaking a window on your own house is not illegal. Like you can do what you want to your house. I could vandalize my house. It's my damn house. I'm pretty positive she lied to the police. From what I heard, she said that I went in there trying to fight her. Hilarious. I went in there, I picked up Nolan, and I walked out. She told the police that Nolan, my baby, was in the room that I broke the window. Nolan was in the master bedroom. She sat him on the floor, and she went and hid in my closet. That is quite a damn babysitter. Anyway, my husband then started claiming, that's the babysitter, I'm not cheating. Bitch, okay, so her stuff is moved into the house. Her stuff is moved into the house. That's a really good babysitter. It wasn't a very good babysitting move when she left the kid on the floor, though, to go hide in the closet and protect herself. What a loser. Anyways, that's when I kind of started realizing, oh man, this is the girl best friend that I had him block 4 years ago. Because she was flirting with him, saving shirtless pictures of him, and he was flirting with her. They were being really freaking weird towards each other. And me and Ethan had just met, and I was like, you know what, like, if you want a girl best friend, like, good luck finding a girlfriend, especially if she acts like that towards you. And he was like, no, like, don't leave me, I'll block her. I didn't even have to ask, he just got on his phone and blocked her. But anyway, recently he did call, and he's like, I just feel like I need somebody less, like, someone more boring, less of a personality. Like, when I tell you word for word, I'm not kidding. He said I was too much, all of this stuff, like, laughed too much, too many jokes, he needed somebody less. So he picked her, and I'm like, oh my God. Like, does she know that? Does she know that you're purposely trying to pick somebody less? He wants somebody less attractive also because he hates when men hit on his girl. Insecure. Anyway, my dad and brother are both police officers. They showed up on scene that day. They were not happy that I was getting arrested. There was no reason I should have been getting arrested. Ethan did something that day that he should have been arrested for. I cannot say yet. But that is a very, very basic way of putting the day. But yes, they ended up putting like breaking and entering with malicious intent were my charges. And I guess the malicious intent was because they both were like, she's trying to fight her. I had no interest in fighting her. You can have him. They deserve each other. They're both neglectful little... Anyways, I cannot say, but that's it, y'all. That's all you're getting for now.
Okay, guys, so my best friend and I, right, we're both jobless at the time. When I say my best friend, this girl, we are very close. We make the same hair. We have a lot of matching outfits, matching bags and clothes. Today, it's either we sleep in her house or we sleep in my house. We are always together. You will never even see this one without the other one. We are always together. We're very, very close. So I had a small business. You know, I told you guys that we're both jobless. So I had a small business. So the business started growing. I began to have investors. The business grew now. I had to employ a lot of workers. So she was the first person I employed, and she was like the second in command, and then I had a lot of workers. So she knew my phone password, she had my BVN, everything, like everything about my business, everything about my life. In fact, she knows how to sign my own signature. So even the company account, she has access to it. She knows the PIN, she knows everything. So people are telling me they understand that we are close, but is this not too much? They were like, at least I should limit her to some things. But I was like, people now, they will always talk. So I didn't even pay any attention to them. So there was this time that I wanted to travel abroad. So I was going to Dubai, right? So I told her, I was like, I want to travel. Oh, please, can she supervise the place for me? Can she be in charge? She was like, okay, no problem. Because the way the workers respect me and they regard me, that's the same way they respect her.
So it wasn't even going to be an issue. So when I left, now 2 weeks later, I came back. When I came back, I didn't even understand how the company was. The workers were few. I've been calling some of my investors. They've not been picking because we're not making any sales. I was even asking her, what happened to the workers now? She didn't even give me any reasonable response. So it was one of the workers that was there. He met me like, Madam, you said that your friend told us that you relocated abroad now. Did anything happen? Are you now back? I was like, relocated abroad? How now? I said, I didn't relocate abroad. I just traveled for 2 weeks and I'm back. They were like, no, that my best friend told them that I have sold the business and then I've relocated. So she told some of the workers that they should go and find something else to do because very soon now they're going to shut down this entire place. So even she said, the worker that was telling me that she's just there trying to help my friend organize some things. So I was like, oh, okay, is that why my investors have not been calling me? So I decided to call one of the investors again. So when I called him, he was like, why have I been disturbing him with calls? That day they had trust in me. They had faith in me, rather. They believed in me. And then I relocated. I sold my business. I didn't even have the decency to tell them at least. They were even hearing from my best friend when they even came to the company. I didn't even give them any notice at all. So I was trying to explain it. He just hung up the call. He didn't want to hear any explanation. So I rushed to go and meet my friend. I was like, this is it, or this is what I'm hearing. Is it true? She was like, yes now. I was like, but why would she do something like that? I just traveled for 2 weeks. She was like, so me, I think I can get whatever it is I want. That both of us are jobless and me, it's my small business. She didn't even know how it grew like this. And then I made her a worker in the company. Imagine as I was even traveling, that I told her that she should oversee this kind of way. We need about like me, I'm giving her work to do. I was confused. I was like, wait, oh, this was somebody that I am helping actually. And she wasn't scared, oh. Wallahi, she was not scared. Like, she just said it. Yes, she did it. What can I do? That I think I can always get whatever it is that I want. That's how she left me there, guys.
You guys tell me if you find this weird, because I did. Occasionally, I'll go on a walk around my neighborhood, and one day the neighbor stopped me and said, hey miss, I don't mean to bother you, but can I ask you a question? For obvious reasons, whenever a man who I don't know stops me and says, can I ask you a question, or says anything to me, actually, I get a bit paranoid. But he's married. He seems very happy with his wife. They're married to themselves. So I was like, you know what? It's not a big deal. What's going on? He says, I see you go on walks a lot. I was wondering if you can go with my wife. She doesn't have a lot of friends. She's not from here, and I think it would be good for her to have some female friends. He just goes on about how she's shy. She's not going to approach me first, but he really wants her to make friends. I was like, of course, but I'm not going to do that because I'm friendly, but I'm not the type to approach a stranger and be like, hey, what's up? Let's hang out. Like, I'm not going to do that. She wants to have conversation the same way he stopped me. I'm sure she can too. And for months, I didn't say anything to her until we were all actually washing clothes together in the laundromat. Me and her had a brief conversation. She actually seems pretty friendly, but like I said, I'm just not the type to try to befriend someone. If it happens naturally, it happens naturally. Maybe a month goes by since I last saw her. We happen to have the same off days. I saw her outside. We talked for maybe 20 minutes. We exchanged numbers. And from there, the friendship kind of blossomed. We're still getting to know each other, obviously, but I do like her. One night, she shoots me a text and says, hey, me and my man are drinking. Do you want one? I could bring you over a drink. I don't drink, so I declined and said, but you're more than welcome to come over anyways. I'm just hanging out. She ends up coming over. I kid you not. She was here for probably like 15 minutes max. I think it was less than 15. Next thing you know, her man is calling her to tell her to come home. I can't hear his side of the conversation, but I can hear her say, just give me 5 more minutes. I'm like, that's kind of weird. You weren't even out the house for 30 minutes. Being that we're women, we keep talking, and probably 20 minutes passes by after she said, give me 5 minutes. Next thing you know, I hear a knock at my door. Immediately, I say, is that your man? She says, no, I don't think so. I was like, you don't know if your man's coming over or not? She says, well, I don't see why he would. Are you sure you don't have guests coming over? I'm like, girl, if I had someone coming over, I would be aware that I'm having company coming over. I say that has to be your man because no one told me they were coming over. So I open the door, and of course, it's her nigga. So I'm thinking he's here to pick up his wife, which he probably was. Honestly, I feel like in his head, he was like, you've been out for too long, come home. But we all ended up talking for maybe another 20 minutes and then they left. But I don't know. You were the one who was pressed about
your woman having friends and now she's making a friend and you're telling her to come home early, like you're not letting her stay out the house for more than 30 minutes. Half of me feels like because she has no friends, they're always together and he just got used to her always being home. I thought that was weird.
My best friend of what would have been 20 years this year broke up with me 3 years ago, and I'm just now able to tell the story. I'm not gonna bore y'all with a whole bunch of background information. We have been best friends since 6th grade. No distance, no time, no whatever school she went to, whatever state she moved to, none of that had ever mattered. Don't go ahead and get into the situation. At this point in our friendship, texts and calls had kind of slowed down because, you know, adulting, we're doing things. But whenever we talked, whenever we met up, it was like we never missed a beat. The love was always there. I could not have talked to her in 2 months, but if somebody had asked me who my best friend was, it's her, okay? At this point in our friendship, messages were like sporadic funny memes or sporadic funny messages to one another. On this day, I text her and I said, hey, you know, from one creative to the next, I've been going through creative block. What do you do to get through it? She didn't respond. And I really didn't think nothing of it because that was our flow. You know what I'm saying? My girl was busy. She was a very accomplished Black creator. Like, she was doing her thing. Text her, asked her this, didn't get a response. I waited like a week or two because, like I said, that was our flow. I sent a little question mark reaction on the message that I sent her, still didn't get a response. I waited another week or two, still ain't got no response. So I playfully sent a message because this is how we kind of talk to each other. I said, this bitch don't want to be my friend no more. To which she responded something that I was not expecting. But she sent me a long message of things that apparently had been bottled up inside of her. I do remember like how the message started off, and I did delete the screenshots. I want to say that same year because I didn't want to go into the next year with that energy at all. So yeah, I'm not one of the screenshot keepers. I'm sorry. The message started off like, well, you should think about that when you not responding to messages. I went and I looked in Instagram, I looked in TikTok, I looked in our message thread that I was currently in, and I didn't see anything. That I saw like maybe 1 or 2 memes that I didn't respond to, but I'm like, did she send me something important? Did she send me like a voice message that I accidentally opened and it disappeared? Like, you know, I'm double checking. Another thing that she said was she didn't want a relationship where she was trauma bonding, and I'm like, trauma bonding? What? Girl, you made me push myself in the lip. What? Creative block? Me asking you about creative block is you're considering that trauma bonding? I was so confused in that moment because I was hurt. I responded with anger, and I do regret that. I was livid. I was like, what the hell do you mean? Like, you know, I ain't gonna even get into what I said. In hindsight, I actually feel like the way that I responded validated her reasons, whatever her reasons were for not wanting to be my friend anymore. But yeah, here we are. So yeah, I'm angry. I'm livid. I think the message did go through, but I don't think that she responded. Fast forward a couple of months, I tried to reach out to her. She had me blocked on all platforms. Mind you, me and her had never even argued. I don't know if I said this already, but we had never even argued before. We maybe had like a tiff here and a tiff there, but we had never really had any big arguments. There was nothing that would indicate, you know, this was coming. Fast forward a couple of months, I try to reach out to her, realize that she got me blocked on all platforms. I reach out to one of her cousins who I had met because me and her would always meet up for Mardi Gras. Half of her family was from Louisiana or from New Orleans, and so we would always meet up for Mardi Gras every year after high school. Hit up one of her cousins on Instagram. I kind of tell her the gist of what's happening. So she reaches out to my friend for me. My friend hits me up, and I'm basically like, hey, what can I do to mend this? And y'all, that is not like me. That is not in my character. I hate to say that, but I'm not the type to come like and ask questions or try to plead my case, or like, no, if you did me a certain way, I'm gonna just let it be. This was my girl. This was my sis. So I was like, I really want to mend this. I really want to know what I did wrong as a friend and what I could do to fix this. And she basically responded like, her friendship is not worth the fight. I could have threw up. In hindsight, I was a little too wrapped up in life. I was always in survival mode. For a lot of our friendship, I was in the same relationship, and it was, you know, tumultuous. But I also got to the point in our friendship where I would keep that separate from her. Like, when we talk, we not talking about none of the drama. We not doing none of that. Like, I would protect our friendship from any turmoil that I had going on because it was precious to me, because I was so wrapped up in survival mode and trying to get to the point that she was at in life, because she was very successful. I remember one time she had told me she had got her a brand new fancy vehicle. I'm not going to put it out there because I feel like there's too many details, but she had got her a brand new vehicle, and she had waited like 6 months to tell me. And it was because she had this feeling that the people in her life, or the people that were around her and her family, were hating on her. I told her, I said, girl, I would never hate on you. You are my inspiration. Like, I look at you like, girl, let me get on your level. That is what a real friend do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I told, like, we had been through all of that. Been with her when she came out to, being lesbian. I had no qualms about that. As a matter of fact, I told her, baby, I kind of already knew that. No love lost here. You're still my girl. You're still my sis. What do you mean? Like, we went through all of this together. I will say that I ain't never been a friend with money. I ain't never been and money gives you access to travel to see your friends. Money gives you access to go and do things with your friends. It gives you access to be able to buy things for them and show them, hey, I love you. Those are the things that I aspire to do, but I've just never been in a position to be able to do. Maybe my timeline wasn't moving fast enough for her. Like, I don't know what the issue was. Can only sit here and nitpick myself, and that just makes me feel bad. But it also made me self-evaluate to make sure that I was a good friend. Like, am I checking in on my friends' moms and their dads and their brothers and their sisters? Am I checking in on them? Help me reevaluate myself as a friend, because, maybe I was lacking. But I also have to acknowledge my feelings and my truth, and that I feel as though our friendship was worth her talking to me. I thought we had built the type of friendship where she could say, hey, girl, you tripping. Hey, girl, you need to step your game up. Hey, girl, hey, look, I don't like how you moving. I felt like we had that kind of a friendship. And I've always been hesitant to tell this story because I've seen so many things, so many think pieces, so many memes about how I'll just cut you off without saying anything. And I do understand, I'm not invalidating people who do that, but I think that it's very circumstantial. Depends on what type of friendship you had. If a friendship that came with warning, I could see this happening. Like, maybe if she had been told me, hey girl, you need to get your stuff together, and I'm still not getting my stuff together, okay, boom, baby, you gotta ghost me. But there was no indication. Like, the last thing that we had probably done together was laugh. I was just really lost. Like, you haven't given me any warnings, any sign. You didn't tell me that I was at risk of losing our friendship. But I also have to sit here and understand that you don't owe me any explanation. And that I think that was one of the hardest pills to swallow, is that as much as I feel like you owe me an explanation, as a human being, you don't owe me one. But as a sister, like, as the type of friendship that we had built, the type of communication, whether it was sparse or not, thought that we had that you could tell me if I was slipping as a friend. But such is life. And, I've kind of had to muddle my way through this. I'm just now realizing this year that you could grieve a friendship this long. Oh yeah, I did send her a letter via email because that was the only way I could reach her at the end of that same year that she broke off the friendship. So that was 2023, December 31st, 2023, so that I could go into my 2024 with as free of a heart as I could to try to move forward with my life. I sent her a message just saying my piece. I told her that it's not to sway you back into friendship. It's not to disturb your peace. I'm not here to argue with you. I'm just here to acknowledge my experience. And though I understand where some areas where I may have fell short, even though I'm not clear on that, these things I nitpick myself first, unfortunately, but I did also end with acknowledging that two things can coexist. I could have also not been the best friend, but I do also think that it was wrong how you decided to end the friendship with no warning, no sign, just a dump. And had I not pressed the issue, had I not sent more messages, I probably would have gotten nothing. And I think that is a weird way to end a 17-year friendship that had no warning, no indications, no arguments prior to this moment. So yeah, if you ever had a best friend breakup, tell me about it in the comments. What happened to you?
I'm tired of people treating me differently just because because I'm so pretty and funny and smart. It's like, I was born this way.
My mom was in high school. She became best friends with this woman. We're gonna call her Debbie. That is her first name. I won't say her last name. Like, best friends, okay? Like, they shared albums. They had first cigs together. I think they smoked their first joints together. This is also, like, 1978. After they graduate high school, they're best friends. My mom meets my dad. They move in together. This woman, Debbie, is at my parents' house all the time. She even starts dating one of my dad's friends. That relationship doesn't work out, but it's fine. Everybody's friends. This is years and years and years of a friendship. My mom and dad get married. She is the maid of honor for my mom. Like, I'm telling you, best friends. My parents are married. They always have people over. They always have parties. They're partying together. They're having the best time. Then my parents have 3 kids, okay? 3 years in between. Now we're talking like almost like a 20-year friendship at this point. Like, we're in the mid-90s now. My mom, Debbie, and then a third person named Ann. They're all besties. They're together all the time. And after my mom had my little brother, so her third child, you know, they'd have to schedule girls' nights and stuff, but they were still going out all the time. Debbie come to my parents' house all the time. And Debbie starts dating this guy. I think his name is either Ray or Roy. He's a little bit older. He seems a little seedy. He has kind of like a seedy reputation around town. Like, just like a not trustworthy guy, questionable of what his job is and how he makes so much money. And of course, my mom and Ann are concerned for Debbie. They go out one night. Ann is very upfront and very honest, very confrontational. And she's like, listen, we don't know what's going on with this guy. It seems a little bit crazy. It seems a little bit soon. Like, should we maybe question his intentions? Like, what's going on? He's so much older. And the next day, nobody hears from Debbie. They're like a everyday chit-chat, phone call kind of group of friends. So nobody hears from her. A couple days go by. My mom starts to get really worried, but she's also preoccupied. She has 3 kids. Ann has 2 kids. They're trying to figure out what's going on. Is Debbie really mad at them? So after like day 3, they go to her house, go to her apartment that she just moved into with Roy. Like, that's why they were kind of concerned that things were moving too fast. They go to the apartment. They knock on the door. Nobody answers. They're starting peeking in the window. There's nothing there. They're completely moved out of the apartment. This is my mom's best friend, maid of honor, okay? This argument that they had about Roy being a seedy, weird guy was 2 or 3 nights before this move out. So she was gone. They had no clue where she was, didn't hear from her. Obviously, they're panicking. They're thinking that he, like, kidnapped her. They finally get in touch with her sister, who, of course, they knew over the years. And the sister was like, yeah, she up and moved to Virginia with Roy. And my mom has never spoken to her since. My mom's not a big social media person. She's tried to find her on socials. Ann has tried to find her, cannot find her in social media. And this is now 2026. This is now 30 years since Debbie moved away. So a few weeks ago, Ann finds Debbie's sister Lisa on Facebook. Messages her. She's like, hey, hope all is well. I know this is like so many years later, but we've been trying to get in touch with Debbie. We don't know where she is. Donna and I my mom would just love to reach out to her and just wish her well and maybe connect or whatever. Lisa was like, listen, she's really busy. Here's her phone number. Feel free to message her. So my mom and Ann go out to dinner like last week. They finally get the guts to message her. Ann starts a group chat with my mom and Debbie, writes this whole long message saying like, hey, hope all is well. We haven't heard from you in so long. Donna and I just recently reconnected. We hope you're doing well. We would love to like jump on a phone call, or last we heard you're living in Virginia. We would love to drive down. Maybe we meet halfway. We would just love to connect with you, see how you're doing. Message was delivered. No answer. Isn't that insane? My mom's best friend in the whole world drops off the face of the earth. Clearly she's still alive and well because her sister was like, yeah, she's great. She's just busy. And just like, that's it. My mom is still so upset about it. She's still so sad about it. She misses her best friend, but it's also like, I guess what else do you do?
Part 1 of finding out my best friend was having an affair with my husband, now ex-husband. Okay, I'm gonna start at the beginning. Well, the beginning of the end. The day that I asked for a divorce. It was 4th of July. One of my best friend's sisters was having a 4th of July party. I had already signed up to work overtime. I worked at the jail. It was double time. I was going in. I was there. One of her other sisters called me and was like, Brittany, you need to be here. This is family time. It's more important than money. So I said, okay, don't tell nobody. I'm gonna try to leave work and I'll try to come. So I talked to my boss, I left, whatever. I get there. As I get there, I walk in the backyard and my ex-husband has my best friend up in the air. He's holding her by the legs up in the air, like celebrating. I guess they had just won a game of cornhole. Cool. I don't think anything of it. Whatever. I walk over and they're like, oh my God, you're here, blah, blah. After that, her sister that was throwing the party came over and was like, hey, do you care if I tackle your husband? And I was like, sure, whatever. Mind you, she's in a big baggy shirt and like some biker shorts or something. Not a problem. She tackles him, they get up. The end. Not the end.
it actually gets progressively worse. She then goes inside, changes into a thong bikini. I think it's fair to add that she is like body T, like body, like she's got a nice body. She walks outside. She pulls him over to this like makeshift slipping slide situation that they have going on, and he's just in like basketball shorts, and they proceed to wrestle on the slipping slide for like a good 30 minutes. Like, they're going at it. Like, he's on his back, she's on top of him, ass in his face, like flipping around, doing all these things. Everybody's just kind of like watching, like in shock. Her fiance is there, it's his house. He's up in the corner, like pouting, like obviously upset. Everybody is. I look over at my best friend, and the bitch was mad, like furious mad. And in my mind, I'm like, what a good friend. Like, you're so mad on my behalf. I love that. She was not. She was mad on her own behalf. She was mad for herself. She didn't care about me. So they get done. He walks over to where I'm at, and he is joking, like, not just to me, like to a group of people, about how slippery it was. So slippery that his finger went inside of her. Yes, that's what he says. At this point, we'd already been having some issues. This was like my breaking point. Like, I already knew what I was doing when I got home. Like, I already knew. We continue the night. I'm not trying to make a scene. There was a photo thing that happened that made her, like my best friend's husband, because her husband and my husband were best friends too. That made him decide like that he was not going to be his friend anymore. I guess during a picture, my ex like squeezed my best friend's waist in like a intimate way. So her husband ends up saying like, I'm not going to be friends with somebody who A, disrespects his wife in the way that you do, or who oversteps with my own wife. So they stopped being friends. Like that night, like after we left, or a couple days later. I can't remember exactly when all that went down. But we get home after the 4th of July, and I'm obviously like pissed. I've been trying to hold this in all night, not to ruin like our children's time. But I give him my ring, and I said, you're a disrespectful fuck. You're nasty. Like, who do you think you are to do that? It's embarrassing as hell. Gave him my ring and said, I want a divorce. Like, you are not a person I want to be married to. Mind you, this is before I even knew about the affair. How I didn't know, looking back, delusion, I guess. That's part one. Buckle up, like, it's gonna be a rough ride. I truly was delusional. I was delusional. That's all there is to it. I was delusional. I trusted her so much. Nobody could ever convince me that there was something going on. Even when people came to me with proof, and she denied it. At first, I believed her. I trusted her so damn much. You could not convince me. Until the proof smacked me in my face, and I was like, all right, okay. So, part one, 100 to come.